to pull back the curtain and to expose the power struggles that shape our future. From the politicians who promise change to the renewed hope mantra, and then to the ones who profit from the system, nothing and no one is off limits. Whether it's corruption, governance, or the fight for real democracy, you get the truth unfiltered and unapologetic. This is where the power of the people meets the power of the politicians. This is where the people speak and we listen, no holds barred. So sit back, take a deep breath, and get ready for the ride. This is Political Lens, Nigeria's most fearless and in-depth political show. Let's begin the conversation this evening. This country cannot afford to continue to ignore these conversations. On today's topic, the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement Worldwide, Yunusa Tanko, has disclosed that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, has submitted his one-term proposal to the coalition for consideration. On Monday, Obi said he's willing to be a one-term president in 2027. Now, according to him, any candidate from the South elected president in the next election must be prepared to leave office on May 28, 2031, in line with the unwritten power-sharing agreement and the zoning principle. Meanwhile, Ralph Nwosu, the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, says the executives of the party under his leadership have decided to resign and support its interim leadership led by David Mark, the former Senate president. Nwosu spoke in Abuja today at the unveiling of the ADC as the coalition party ahead of the 2027 elections. He said the opposition coalition is not about seeking power, but moving Nigeria to global reckoning. Now, earlier today, there were reports that the opposition coalition was denied entrance into the Wells Scouting Hotel where the unveiling was supposed to take place. The members had to move to another venue. Let's take a quick look at some of the opposition coalition members arriving at the Yaradua Center earlier today. There's a very short video where we have Peter Obi, Atiku, and others meeting and shaking hands. That was earlier today. Let's quickly take a look at this video. There you can see Atiku Abubakar, who was presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 elections, shaking hand with Peter Obi, who seems to be the man of the moment since he declared his presidential ambition in 2022 and ran under the umbrella of the Labour Party in 2023. You can see them right there shaking hands, moving as a unit and gathering as an opposition coalition to actually unseat President Tinubu and the APC in 2027. Many Nigerians are asking, could this be what we need as at this moment? So right here in the video, you can see all of that. But as this unfolds, a major faction within the African Democratic Congress, that is the ADC, has kicked against the move by the opposition coalition to actually adopt the party, that is the ADC, as its political platform. In a statement that was issued by Musa Issa Matara, the faction's national publicity secretary, yes, that's the faction, the national publicity secretary of the ADC faction, that's not happy about this. They warned that the ADC is not a private coalition platform to be hijacked by political elites. Now, the faction expressed outrage over what it described as a unilateral decision made without input from critical stakeholders. Matara also said the decision to merge with the opposition coalition was made without consulting key party structures, including state executives, youth and women leaders, and ward coordinators. The political permutations are not over. And in this video, you can see that indeed moves are being made, strides are being made. Obi, Atiku, David Mark, former Senate President David Mark, is also going to be leading this opposition coalition. We've seen El-Rufai as well, and all of these people are saying, look, we must unseat the APC in 2027. We must bring Nigeria, in fact, we must remove Nigeria from this state of disrepute that we seem to have found ourselves. Now, the Kano State chapter of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has dismissed reports suggesting that its national leader and former presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is planning to defect to the All Progressives Congress. And now addressing the media, the NNPP chairman in Kano, Alhaji Hashim Suleiman Dugunrawa, described the reports as unfounded, but he welcomed the speculation as a reflection of Kwankwaso's enduring political influence. He also added that Kwankwaso is widely regarded as a man of honor and integrity, not someone to be associated with corruption or political irrelevance. He stated in no uncertain terms that the leader of the Kwankwasia movement will absolutely not move to the ruling APC. Even as politicians position themselves, Nigerians are also gearing up to vote come 2027. This is the point where I would implore you to go out and vote in the local government elections come July 12 if you live in Lagos. That is the government at the grassroots. You should have a say in who becomes your leader and your mouthpiece at the local government level. Now, back to our major discussions. Two wonderful guests will be joining me today to discuss the issues at hand. But we'll take a very, very, very short break. And when we return, we'll admit our guests. Let's take a deep dive into the issues that affect you and I. This is Political Lens. My name is Chema Innocent. Stay tuned.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to the Political Lens right here on Voice of the People television. I will be joined by my guests. Let's dissect the issues. First up, we have Honorable Sunday Moses Oladapo. He was a House of Assembly candidate in the last election and also one of the leaders of the African Democratic Congress in Ikorodu and Lagos State. You are very welcome, sir. Thank you for joining me this evening.
So much, Nigerians, for having me this evening, and thank you for the program.
Thank you so much. We have quite a number of questions for you, seeing as you're one of the leaders of the ADC, but also joining from Benin, we have Comrade Ibrahim Momo. He's a lecturer of political science at the Ambrose Ali University in Ekpoma, Edo State. He's also a public affairs analyst and a political commentator. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, and also good evening to the other guests.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ibrahim Momo. Remember that you can watch us on YouTube at VOP TV Live. You can also find us on SLT channel 264. Join the conversation by calling into the studio to share your opinions respectfully and also leave your comment on YouTube. The phone numbers to call will be showing right at the lower part of your screen. You can see the phone numbers there. So call in, share your opinions respectfully. Let's get right into the conversation. Now, I want to come to you first, Honorable Oladapo. A major faction within the ADC, there are reports that they have kicked against the move by the opposition coalition to adopt the party as its political platform. Now, the report says that a statement issued by Musa Issa Matara, the faction's national publicity secretary, they are warning that the ADC is not a private coalition platform to be hijacked by political elites. They're also expressing outrage, saying this was a unilateral decision made without any input from critical stakeholders. Is it really possible that the opposition coalition could have made such giant strides without talking to the critical stakeholders of the ADC? And also as someone who's a leader of the party right here in the southwestern state of Lagos, how does it make you feel that the opposition coalition sees the ADC as a worthy vehicle to move them to their destination in 2027?
Quickly clear some here. ADC as a political party has no faction anywhere, any place, anytime, even till now. ADC has been a party that has been on ground, formidable, strong, and been waiting for the right time, because politics in Nigeria is about finance, investment, and I believe that ADC as a party that we don't have that massive financial war chest to really be that visible everywhere. But ADC has been on ground. Then the point about some people coming out now to say that there's a faction. There have been no faction in ADC. And like you rightly said, consultation was done. The Lagos ADC held a stakeholders meeting on this coalition movement. And I can tell you for other states also, it has been done all over. I think Lagos had ours the 12th of June. And it was well attended by every stakeholder in Lagos State, and we are carried along. So anyone coming out to talk about not being carried along, some leaders is not coming out in clear terms.
So who exactly is Musa Issa Mantara, this person that is complaining that the ADC, they're trying to use the ADC and take over the ADC for their own selfish reasons? Who is Musa Issa Mantara?
Yeah. Politically, globally, not only in Nigeria, when you have things like this happen, politically, you have a lot of people masquerading themselves as somebody. Musa is not somebody known to us, especially in ADC here. So I don't know. There can be fifth columnists. People will be sponsored. We should be expecting a lot of Musas coming out at this time, because ADC, being the bride of the new coalition movement, I'm sure that we experience a lot of people coming out like this. So the only chairman we know in ADC has been Chief Raf, and he's been there for quite some time. And he has taken the best decision for the party at this time, which is also the best decision for Nigeria to have this coalition work. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Sunday Oladapo. Let's quickly go over to Comrade Ibrahim Momo before I come back to you with more questions. Comrade, you are a lecturer right here in Nigeria, right, in Ekpoma, Edo State, lecturer of political science. What would you say of all the political permutations that's been happening with the way the opposition coalition started out by saying there may be a measure? From a measure, there were talks of the vehicle of the SDP, from there now to the ADC. And also there was an incident earlier today where the Wells Carlton Hotel said due to internal compliance problems that the opposition coalition could not sit in that hotel. The opposition coalition has blamed the current administration, saying they're trying to put a clog in the wheel of their success. They were later able to gather. And then the leaders of the ADC have resigned to actually allow Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, and others take over the party ahead of 2027. What would you say of all of these machinations that are going on? Will it be to the benefit of Nigerians?
Thank you very much. The first thing to note is that politics is about self-interest. It is a self-interested activity that are going on. And it is important that we situate the point that about self-interest in the context that, not in a negative sense. It is not surprising to me that these efforts, this flurry of activities that, as you have enumerated, are taking place. First, a coalition, and then a special purpose vehicle. I think it was called the ADA, which was an attempt to register a clean party, devoid of any shenanigans. And then that was when INEC now came out to tell you that there are 110 applications in total, and they're going to schedule working around how to review the applications. In fact, INEC also said that at one point that what they have, it's not an application per se, but an expression of interest, essentially telling them that you still have a long way to go. And then from there, we talk about the fact that the party is now coalescing around the ADC. I thought that yesterday. I think there were rumors that David Mark was going to be put as interim chairman, and then Raoul Faregbe-Shola. I even saw a presser, acceptance speech, national secretary of the party, and then that's so. And the party is running against time because the elections, what I like to note, are afoot. By this time next year, primaries are supposed to have been held. So the party do not actually have much time if they're going to be a coalition that will be able to effectively challenge the APC. They do not have much time now. So you can see that's why I think there's a fast-moving pieces of the opposition coalition puzzle. The other point to make, in line with the question you have asked, is the fact that it is interesting that they have chosen to adopt the ADC. With all due respect, with all sense of responsibility, Labour Party was one of the minor parties. The highest they ever got was a governor in the person of Olusegun Mimiko in Ondo State. That's when LP ever got something tangible. The only other time they became a team was when Peter Obi, backed by the obedient movement, people like Obasanjo, and and some other persons sided with who were aligned to Peter Obi, moved into the Labour Party. That was when the Labour Party became something, a party of reckoning, and such that they even rose quickly, and within a year, they were able to garner a total of 6.1 million votes in the last general election. So, and even got a governorship, got 6 senatorial district, 6 senatorial seats, and I think 34 House of Reps, among other positions they won. So now, what is interesting about the ADA or the ADC in this instance is that it's not just Peter Obi that is now in this coalition. You have an Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP, who came second. So you have seen candidate who came second in the last presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, the one who came third, Peter Obi, in one party. You have seen other political heavyweights like from the Southwest, Raoul Faregbe-Shola, from the South, Rotimi Amechi, from the Northwest, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, from the North Central, David Mark, from the Northeast, Atiku Abubakar, from the Southeast, you have Peter Obi. When you have one party having all these political heavyweights, it is something of note. So I think that the ADC is on the upswing, and if you may, we could say that it's the next big thing to happen in Nigerian politics. If they can effectively walk around, ensuring that they come to a compromise in terms of presidential candidate and running mates, and then all these actors remain in the party, I think it's going to be a party that will give the APC a run for its money.
Thank you so much. You are seeing the ADC becoming the next political heavyweight, that is, becoming the next Labour Party by 2027 due to its adoption by the opposition coalition. I want to come back now to you, Honorable Sunday Oladapo. Thank you so much for staying with us. With the resignation of the entire leadership structure of the ADC to make way for Senator David Mark to take place as the interim national chairman, does it mean that those who were there before were not doing a good work of positioning the ADC as a formidable opposition to whatever government was in power? Why did that particular structure have to be collapsed for the new people to come in? Wasn't there a way they could have worked together, actually? And wouldn't this actually fan the embers of dissent within those who have been in the party for a while? To see these new people coming in as interlopers who have an agenda.
Well, let me break it down for you. The ADC, we had a recurring problem every 4 years with leadership issue. Raf has been there for more than 2 decades now, and it's always every 4. Most because we do have some seats, House of Rep seats, Kogi State, and some other little seats. So our party is always there as a party that exists, that is working fine. But most people they tend not to have interest in ADC before now, except when the election calendar run close. Now, whenever the election is closer, then everybody start coming. I want to be chairman. I want to be this. And Ralph had been heading forth. So now, at this point, why it is easy for the exodus to happen is that the present NAC members, as executive members at the national, felt that it has been as in they've been there for a long time and they also need to ease out. So this the new people coming to take over is not total. For example, it's not happening in Lagos. It's not happening in many states that have done their election recently and are doing very fine. So it is not as it is being painted that everybody is leaving. No, I believe some strategic key positions are going to be also ceded to those that have been there before. But the major position, which is the chairmanship of the party, the chairman needs to sacrifice his time so that at least one, the perennial, the 4 years issue that happens will not be there anymore. At least, if you recall the last election, the presidential candidate had to be coming up, that the chairman needs to resign, this needs to happen. But now that this has happened, I believe that the party will also be holding its delegate conference very soon, where substantial, instead of being interim, will now happen, and I believe there will be negotiation from each part. So I'm sure of that. But it's not a winner take all at all. It's not a winner take all.
Okay, it's not a winner takes all situation, but Honorable, how prepared is the ADC to deal with any opposition, especially state-sponsored, now that it has come into the limelight? One could say that, okay, for a while, yes, the ADC has been holding its own fort low-key, but it's now been thrown into the limelight like the way the Labour Party was. We could see what happened after the 2023 elections, where there were a lot of blame games back and forth between the national chairman of the Labour Party and certain strategic members of the Obedient Movement about money. It became more of a, oh, you squandered, you misappropriated. Now that the ADC has been thrown into limelight, how is it poised to deal with any cantankerous opposition that may arise? Because you do know that the APC takes no prisoners when it comes to playing opposition.
Well, the truth of the matter is that we expect more of it now, because being a formidable and a strong opposition now with what we have seen today, the likes of Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, and all the big wigs from PDP. Presently PDP is being shredded to nothing, with the people coming out of PDP to join ADC now. So we expect more. If I'm telling you that we're going to deal with that, I'm lying to you. We expect more. There will be more sponsored fifth commitments. There will be more sponsors, internal issues. But the truth of the matter is that we that have been there are standing on our ground, and we believe that those that are coming are also very experienced, and together, and to the joy of Nigerians, I think we are going to get it right this time.
Before I go over to Comrade Ibrahim Momo, I want you to answer quickly, shortly. Many Nigerians believe as long as you're a politician, as long as you're part of a political party, everybody is the same. What makes the ADC different?
The truth of the matter is this: politics is not a comedy, and it's not a churchy affair. And the first thing on the mind of every politician is to win election. So if people are going to say politicians are the same in that area, then there is nothing we can do about it. In Nigeria, in US, everywhere, everybody that is called a politician that go into a contest, even not even politician, anyone that go into a contest want to win. So that is one. Then in terms of political ideologies, I believe that people coming in, before now, we have been very, very reserved. We've been careful about membership. We don't just take anybody as members before now. But as we now have fresh people coming as a coalition now, like Peter Obi said on his pace in the week, it's going to be difficult for us to dictate the pace at which we want to move. Now, it is not going to be everybody sitting down, taking the idea of the coalition, then the idea that ADC, which is the reserved, like being conservative idea of the ADC that we had before, especially with in Lagos State. Now we're not going to look at what they are bringing to the table. It is being discussed often and often, but I know that now that we are sure that the coalition is taking this, then we can now take that, then we can have an ideology, And very soon, I believe that the party will sell that to Nigerians. And I believe Nigeria will be better for it.
All right, let's go over to Comrade Ibrahim Momo over there in Benin. Thank you for standing by, Comrade. But I want to quickly ask a question on this particular situation that we're talking about before we start talking about another person, another force in this whole political drama ahead of the 2027 presidential elections. Because, yes, as much as there will be there will be state government elections in 2027 as well, the focus is on the presidential elections. Right. Peter Obi joined the Labour Party. He became a formidable force. Right now, it's looking like he's going to just move to the ADC. His obedient movement are saying they don't mind. They will follow him wherever he goes. But is this really the best move for his political career at this point? There are people who are seeing this as a kind of mongering, moving from one place to another. Even when he says he's not desperate to be president, him moving from one political party to another to try and be the flag bearer, even of the opposition coalition, doesn't that speak desperation to you?
The word is, with all due respect, I don't think
I
the
know,
word is
I don't want to say that, Comrade Ibrahim Momo, but let's just go on. Let's just go on.
Yes, the man is ambitious. He wants to be president, and he has the right to want to be president. He's a Nigerian, He's not an American who is seeking to Nigeria. He's a Nigerian who is qualified to be a Nigerian president. And if he has the support of a majority of those who come out to vote on election day, and if he gets the ticket of his party, and he gets the support of majority of those who come out to vote on election day, yeah, by all means, he should be president. So I think that the issue about defections, or if you may, cross-carpeting by Nigerian politicians, it's nothing surprising. Most Nigerian politicians have been on multiple major Nigerian, virtually all of them have been on multiple platforms. The current president was in AD, then AC, then ACD, then APN, and then, of course, eventually the APC. Atiku Abubakar was a founding member of the PDP. If I was vice president, governor-elect Adamawa under PDP, vice president for 8 years under PDP, and then became the presidential candidate of ACN. He moved back to the PDP when Yar'Adua died. He was among those founding members of the APC, and today he's back in the PDP. Peter Obi, yes, he has been governor under Abga, and then he was vice presidential candidate, and again 4 years later he was presidential aspirant under the PDP. Then he ran as candidate of the Labour Party, and today he is now in the ADC. You can say that again for Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. He was PDP at the time. Then today you can say he's an NPP. So these people have moved. The average Nigerian politician is somebody who moves from one party to the other. There's nothing surprising about defections around people, especially because Nigerian politicians do not have ideology. They don't have what they stand for. So when you stand for nothing, you can fall for anything. So essentially, I think that.
Please go ahead, Comrade. Are you still with us, Comrade Ibrahim Momo? All right, let's move over.
Yeah.
All right. Please conclude your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think the point I'm making is that I'm saying that it's not surprising about Nigerian politicians moving from one party to the other. It's not a matter of desperation per se. It is just the fact of the matter about Nigerian politicians not Nigerian political parties not having ideology. It's like when you look at between the PDP and the APC, the ACA, the LP, NNPP, and of course the ADC, it's between 6 and half a dozen. There's no contradistinction, nothing that separates the PDP from the APC in terms of personnel, in terms of ideology, in terms of political standpoints or manifesto. They are almost between 6 and half, one and the same. So that, I think for me, that's the little challenge about Nigerian political parties.
All right, Comrade Ibrahim Momo, let's quickly talk about the NNPP. There's been reports of Kwankwaso joining the APC to be President Tinubu's running mate in 2027. The Kano State chapter of the NNPP is not happy about that. They are saying he will not dare to try it. But many Nigerians are saying he was able to single-handedly snatch Kano State from the clutches of the APC, and that yes, if he joins the APC, there will be a much more formidable opposition to this opposition coalition that has now adopted the ADC in 2027. And some Nigerians also believe that the only viable path for him is to join the coalition, as he risks becoming irrelevant if he insists on going at it alone. So we may have President Bola Tinubu of the APC, Kwankwaso, if he insists on going with the NNPP, and then this opposition coalition. Would that augur well for Kwankwaso and his Kwankwasia movement and the NNPP?
In fact, with all due respect, I think Kwankwaso is the most beautiful bride in Nigeria today. The most beautiful bride. Because when it comes to Atiku, Peter Obi, I think they are condemned to working together. Because they came together in 2019, and they were able to pull a good force against then President Muhammadu Buhari. 2023, they went their separate ways, and then they both lost. The truth is that if you look at the vote that Atiku Abubakar pulled and Obi pulled, 6.9 million and 6.1 million, that's 13 million votes. The current president only got 8.1 million votes. So that's about 5 million plus votes with which they could have even won the election if all things being equal, if they had come together. So the most beautiful bride, so that one, they are settled, they are condemned to working together. They have no choice about coming together, because they have seen what they were able to achieve when they were together, and what they were able to achieve what they lost when they didn't work together. Now, the other person, of course, which is the question you have asked, is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. I think he had a lot of options before him, and he's a very skillful politician. I have to give it to Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. People thought that he could have aligned with Peter Obi. He didn't. And people say, what was he trying to achieve? Is it just to be among the also ranks? But the main fact that he was on the ballot, and it was on a new platform, he was able to achieve one of the biggest prizes in Nigerian politics, winning the governorship of Kano State. That's a very big prize. It's just like the current president, for a very long time, his mainstay was Lagos, just one state. So when you look at Kano and Lagos, these are the two biggest states in terms of population, in terms of voter turnout. You know, we count the top 5 vote counts in every election. Kano is, in fact, the top 3, Kano is always there in terms of voter turnout, even in the last presidential election. And not when former President Muhammadu Buhari won election twice. In fact, Kwankwaso was also in ANP at the time. When he won election twice, once he had gotten the election votes from Kano, from Kaduna, from Sokoto, and from Kebbi, he already had a 5 million haul, and others will not be playing catch up. That's how he won twice. He won 2 times. He won Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Kebbi. He already has 5 million plus votes in his kitty. So Kano is a very big prize, and even if it is only to retain his governorship, if the governorship of Kano is a big prize in itself. But if it's being wooed, you know, by the even if they are denying it, even people are waving it off with the hand, back of the hand, regarding whether he doesn't have a choice but to join the opposition coalition. The truth is that the APC wants him, and you can see the internal rumbling within the APC, where his former protege and then now former chairman of the ruling party APC, that's Umaru Ganduje, was forced to resign, literally, because obviously he was opposed to his arch enemy, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, joining the APC. There's no other logical explanation that would account for why Ganduje was forced out, literally, from the APC national chairmanship. It's not an issue of ill health, because we saw him a few days earlier, I think a day or two before. He was in Bayelsa, he was in Akwa Ibom to receive Governor Umar Eno into the party. A few days earlier, also, he was in Edo. And a couple of, he has been all and about, so it is certainly not a matter of ill health. Certainly, it had to do with the fact that the APC was trying to woo Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the NNPP into its fold, and it appears that Ganduje was not taking any, was not buying it.
Was not very happy about that. Let's go over to Honorable Sunday Oladapo. Thank you for staying with us. One question really for you at this point. Even though Comrade Ibrahim thinks that Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is the most beautiful bride at the moment, that is for a standalone candidate ahead of 2027, and also was a formidable candidate in 2023, what I want to ask is, now that the ADC is in the limelight, is in the spotlight, you saw how the Labour Party was able to capitalize on the Obi wave in 2023. How is the ADC poised to actually capitalize on its limelight now that it seems like, oh, there is enough time to prepare ahead of 2027? Because yes, the ADC might be getting ready to take over at the federal level, but what about at the state levels, for state governors, for House of Assembly, for House of Reps, for local governments? I mean, local government elections are coming up in Lagos on July 12th. For councillorship, how is the ADC getting prepared to actually take over voraciously now that it is in the limelight?
Yeah, is that to me?
Yes, Honorable Sunday Oladakpo, that's for you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. At the last election, ADC, for example, let me talk about Lagos and Ogun State, that is closer to me. ADC had the best candidate at the state level. We're talking of Doati. Doati was a brilliant sharp, and well-informed, updated, and also we have Gbele here in Ogun State who also take the Guba to the wire. And, all these people coming together now with the Jandor. Jandor has gone to APC. I mean, with the GRV and the rest. That means the state Guba will be a very strong election. But talking about the local government election, I won't lie to you, many people have lost interest in that election because it has been a winner-take-all for every state governor. I remember some years back when we were active in the local government election, and our candidate won in the Etiosa area, and he had to lose at the tribunal. He lost everywhere after that. It was so funny, and so people and our hope is that INEC at the national will take over that function so that we can see, because that's the closest government to the people. But because of the way it is being seen that opposition have been stiffed. Like I remember from some of our party members who had intended to register through last year for the election, how they were frustrated at the last year offices, and that is really appalling. But I can tell you that this has been announced today, and the election, local government election that is coming in 2 weeks, is like 3 or 4 weeks now. I'm telling you, it will have been a good real test for this coalition. But that cannot be used at this point because the forms have been closed. A lot of things have been stopped. But I can tell you that ADC with this coalition is not going to be at the national level alone. We're expecting a lot of firecrack at all the state levels because as it stands now, if things work the way it is, coming into the force will be nothing less than 10, 12, 13 governors will be joining the ADC at this level, because as it stands, we expect the Labour Party governor in Abia State to join the ADC. And
he has said he will not be joining the ADC, that he continues to be a member of the Labour Party, as he's been able to actually make Abia State better on the platform of the Labour Party. He said it today, that he's not joining the ADC. That is Governor Alex Oti of Abia State.
Well, let's see. It's easier to say that at this time because of not knowing the weight the coalition carries. I believe we need to give Alex Oti a little more time because, but initially it will look like, oh, is this thing real? But I believe the next 1 to 3 months, even from the APC side, we see many people cross carpeting. I'm very sure.
All right, from the APC side, you see so many people cross carpeting. Our time is fast spent. We'll need to leave very, very shortly. But before we do, I would actually like to get your concluding thoughts. Comrade Ibrahim Momo, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Benin. You are a political science lecturer. How do you see this going? One thing many Nigerians are seeing with this opposition coalition is they are trying to replicate what the CPC and the other parties did in 2015. This is a template that was laid down by the now APC. Would they be able to actually hijack that template and use it against the APC in 2027? Or is this coalition dead on arrival? That's for you, Comrade Ibrahim Momo.
Okay, let me say that it's actually trying to build on the lessons from 2023. And the irony is that it's going to be a much bigger coalition than 2023, funny enough. This is because it's not just Peter Obi and his obedient movement. You're having the Atiku and those they call the articulated. You are seeing the Ogbeni Rafa I think I've forgotten what they call his movement then. And then I think the man who, in my personal opinion, apart from the president and his vice, Shetima, the man who, in fact, not even ahead of Shetima, with all due respect, who worked tirelessly to get this president, to get the ticket of the APC, and of course the presidential election, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. These are not mean personalities. These are not, by no chance can we look at these individuals and think that it's going to be business as usual. It's a much bigger coalition, even than the one we saw in 2023 with the. And I think that the APC is already taking note that if indeed these people can find a way to coalesce and work together, then there is trouble looming. So that's how I see it, actually.
All right, then back to you, Honorable Sunday Oladapo. The ADC is the rave of the moment, right? You're a leader of the party in Ikorodu and in Lagos. Tell us about the preparations right here in the Southwest. Most of the conversation has been happening up there in the FCT in Abuja. How is the ADC preparing in Lagos and in other states?
Well, ADC in Lagos has always been ready. We have a formidable chairman in Mr. George Ashiru, very, very strong man, very patient man, hard-working leader, and he's been doing very fine. I believe even in other Southwest, the ADC has been very strong in the Southwest. And I believe that this is a very good time for Nigerians, generally, all Nigerians to now embrace ADC and see this as a platform to push us out of this quagmire that we have.
All right, then, Comrade Ibrahim Momo, I must thank you for joining me on Political Lens this evening. What will be your concluding thoughts, your advice for the ADC and the opposition coalition, the members of the opposition coalition going forward? How best can they snatch this power in 2027?
Well, I think they must learn to break from the past. They must learn to work, with the people intentionally for the benefit of the Nigerian citizenry. They must have analytical standpoints. The challenge Nigeria faces is that what we call political parties in Nigeria are nothing more than contraptions or mere vehicles. When you look at the people, the way they move around from property to the other. So my concluding thought would be that they must seek to stand out in terms of ideological leaning. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So what is it that would make the ADC different from the APC, the PDP, Labour Party, NNPP? It's a question that they have to do some soul searching to unravel until they can, because people are tired. When they voted for PDP, what did they get from it? Voted from the Labour Party, what did they get from it? Voted for APC, what did they get from it? But if they're going to now want to vote for the ADC, it will not be because of the political heavyweights they have. It could be that they bring something different, something unique, something refreshingly unique to the table that other political parties didn't have or are not having. It's not the fact that we have recycled politicians. These people have been on ground for a while. That's not all it takes. There must be something new, something refreshing, something different, something unique, about this coalition. And if they can do that, I think that, and then they should avoid, fifth columnists. That's what is killing the PDP. Today you have people who, like Atiku, who are supposed to, even the presidential candidate, who are supposed to be members of the PDP, but their heart and soul is somewhere else. You are seeing people like Nyesa Wike, who is saying, I'm not living in the PDP, but in everything he does, he's actually showing that it's not part of it's not interested in the PDP. So if the ADC can do this, I think it will be the best.
All right, in 1 minute, Honorable Sunday Oladapo, just before we go, you've heard Comrade Ibrahim Momo's submission on what the ADC needs to do. Will the party be taking that advice?
Yeah. We should, because ideology is key, like you have said, very key, very, very key. And I believe that ADC had an ideology. With the coalition coming down, we now need to formulate what the Nigerians want. Because at this point, Nigerians are tired. They need a platform to lean on. They need a platform to fly on. We can be better than what we have now. And I believe ADC will deliver that.
Thank you so dearly, Honorable Sunday Oladapo, who is a leader of the ADC in Ikorodu and, of course, in Lagos State. And, of course, that's Comrade Ibrahim Momo, who joined us all the way from Benin. We will have to leave now, but the conversation is not over. Join us again tomorrow on The Political Lens, right here on Voice of the People Television. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at VOP TV Live. Join us on other wonderful programs as we continue to strive to bring you a voice. Jerry Akpelurai will be up next with the issues. Good evening. My name is Chioma Innocent.